In the world of football, there's nothing quite like the feeling of stardom. One day, you're the guy who can barely get a date, and the next, you're being compared to NFL legends. High school football. It's where dreams are made, and sometimes shattered. College is where players go from local heroes to national names. But here's the thing. Fame can get to your head faster than you can say Heisman Trophy. Today, we're diving into the stories of high school and college football players who let that very fame derail their careers before they even had a chance to make it to the pros. We're talking about guys who had everything going for them, until they didn't. So grab your popcorn and let's take a look at some real-life cautionary tales where the only thing faster than their 40-yard dash times was their fall from stardom. The rise to fame in high school football is nothing short of epic. You go from Friday Night Lights to national headlines, and suddenly every college in the country wants a piece of you. One perfect example of this is Johnny Manziel. Back in high school, Johnny Football was the man. He was lighting it up in Texas, making impossible throws and evading defenders like it was a video game. His high school highlights were legendary, and by the time he finished, colleges were lining up to get him. Johnny went to Texas A&M, where his talent quickly translated into stardom. In 2012, he won the Heisman Trophy as a freshman, a feat so rare that the media couldn't get enough of him. Johnny had it all: the fame, the accolades, and the swagger. Another perfect example is Reggie Bush. In high school, he was a standout athlete in San Diego, and by the time he hit USC, he was a household name. People were comparing him to all-time greats. His college career was equally impressive: explosive, dynamic, and unmatched. By his junior year, he was considered a shoo-in for the NFL. Scouts couldn't wait to get him in the league, and Reggie's name was being mentioned alongside legends before he'd even played a snap in the pros. For both Johnny and Reggie, the media attention was constant. It's the kind of fame that most athletes dream of. But, as we all know, when you rise that quickly, it's easy to lose sight of the hard work that got you there. And for these two, it was only a matter of time before the fame started affecting their decisions. Now, let's talk about the part where fame starts to mess with your head. Once you're the star, it's easy to get lost in the hype. You start feeling like you're invincible, and that's where things can go sideways. For Johnny Manziel, it wasn't long before the spotlight became his worst enemy. Johnny's freshman year in college was nothing short of magical, but after winning the Heisman, he became the most talked about player in college football. And that's when the trouble started. Instead of focusing on the game, Johnny spent more time partying, making headlines for his off-field antics more than his on-field performances. Late-night partying, fights, and trouble with coaches became a regular occurrence. At one point, he even took off to Vegas during a bye week, and we all know how that ended. The public loved him until they didn't. Then there's Jameis Winston, another college football star who could have had it all. Jamus was a sensation at Florida State, leading the Seminoles to a national championship in 2013. He had it all: talent, a great team, and an NFL future waiting. But fame wasn't kind to Jamus. He got caught up in controversies. There was the stealing of crab legs, the sexual assault allegations, and a string of bad decisions. Despite all that, he still managed to be drafted #1 overall by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2015, but his off-field issues continued to haunt him. And then we can't forget Josh Gordon, one of the most talented wide receivers of his generation, whose career was derailed not by a lack of talent, but by his inability to deal with fame. In college, Gordon was a beast at Baylor, and his performance had NFL teams salivating. But once he entered the league, his personal issues, mainly revolving around substance abuse, took center stage. Gordon would go on to be suspended multiple times by the NFL for violating the league's substance abuse policy, effectively ending his once promising career. These guys didn't just get distracted by fame, they embraced it. It was all about the parties, the fame, the Instagram likes, and the endless cycle of distractions that came with being a household name. But here's the thing: while they were having a good time in the limelight, the clock was ticking on their football careers. When the party's over, the consequences come crashing down. Johnny Manziel is probably the most notorious example of a career wrecked by fame. He couldn't keep his nose clean. He was involved in multiple off-field incidents and constantly butted heads with his coaches. By 2016, he was out of the NFL, and his fall from grace was complete. The Heisman-winning quarterback, who was once the future of the league, was now a cautionary tale for every young athlete who thought the fame would last forever. Jamus Winston's career is a little different, but the off-field issues definitely took a toll. Despite his potential and a strong start with the Buccaneers, Winston's reputation never fully recovered from his early controversies. And while he's bounced around in the NFL, he's never become the superstar people thought he'd be. As for Reggie Bush, while he was the first-round pick in the 2006 NFL Draft, his college career was marred by a major NCAA investigation that stripped him of his Heisman Trophy and led to sanctions against USC. Bush's pro career never quite lived up to its potential, partly because of the cloud of scandal hanging over him. Sure, he had a solid career, but he never became the transcendent star everyone thought he would be. The off-field distractions? They caught up with him. And poor Josh Gordon. He was gifted with incredible talent and size, but his inability to stay clean led to a litany of suspensions and ultimately ruined what could have been a Hall of Fame caliber career. Gordon played only a handful of seasons, and his story serves as one of the saddest examples of wasted potential in NFL history. So what's the big takeaway here? Fame is fun, no doubt about it. Who wouldn't love the cheers of the crowd, the adoration of fans, and the perks that come with being a star athlete? But here's the kicker. Fame is fleeting. It's like catching a touchdown pass. You might have it in your hands for a moment, but if you don't secure it, it'll slip away faster than you can say Hail Mary. For Johnny Manziel, Jameis Winston, Reggie Bush, and Josh Gordon, their stories serve as cautionary tales. They're reminders that football greatness isn't just about what you do under the lights on game day. It's about what you do in the quiet moments, away from the field when no one's watching. Greatness is built on discipline, humility, and focus. The unglamorous stuff that doesn't make it to the highlight reel but makes all the difference in the end. Johnny Manziel had talent most of us can only dream of, but he let the noise around him drown out the voice of reason. Jamus Winston had the football IQ to lead a team to a championship, but his decision-making off the field raised more red flags than a referee on game day. Reggie Bush was electric on the field, but the distractions off of it left his career tarnished. And Josh Gordon? He had the potential to be one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, but he couldn't outrun his personal demons. The lesson here is simple yet profound. Talent gets you noticed, but character keeps you there. The football field is a meritocracy. Your skills, your preparation, and your mental toughness determine your success. But off the field, that's where the true battles are fought. It's where young athletes decide whether they're going to be remembered as legends or cautionary tales. Fame has a way of clouding judgment. It whispers in your ear, telling you that you're untouchable, that the rules don't apply to you. But here's the truth. The rules apply to everyone. If you don't show up to practice, if you don't stay in shape, if you don't respect the game, it will move on without you. Football is a relentless, unforgiving sport. It rewards the grinders, the hustlers, and the ones who know that every play, every moment is an opportunity to prove themselves. For every Johnny Manziel, there's a Tom Brady. A guy who was underestimated, overlooked, and doubted, but who put in the work every single day and became the greatest of all time. For every Josh Gordon, there's a Larry Fitzgerald, a player who stayed disciplined, avoided off-field drama, and became a role model for future generations. The difference? It's not just talent, it's attitude. And let's be real, staying grounded isn't easy when you're being treated like royalty at 18 years old. But the athletes who make it, who truly leave a legacy, are the ones who surround themselves with the right people, who keep their priorities straight, and who never lose sight of why they started playing in the first place. The love of the game. If you're lucky enough to get a shot at greatness, don't waste it. Fame can be a blessing, but it can also be a trap. Stay humble, stay focused, and remember, you can be the star today, but if you're not careful, you'll be a footnote tomorrow.